Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm apologizing for the background noise, but I'm home alone today and therefore I can't close my bedroom door and record in relative silence. Okay, my mood is a little better. I have not slept properly in weeks. The power goes off twice during the night, and not only have I never in my entire life slept in complete darkness, but the Wi-Fi inverter beeps when the power goes off, and that wakes me up, and once awake, I find it hard to go back to sleep. But yesterday, I actually fell asleep in front of my laptop. So I thought, sod it, and had a 2-hour afternoon nap. I was out for the count and was shocked when I woke up to find it was 4:30 p.m. already. Anyway, I used to do that a long time ago. I would sleep for 2 to 3 hours during the day and work at night. So I'm considering doing that again, or at least do so. Allow myself to do so when I feel the need to. Okay, so today we are back on Harold's narrative about his and Mog's life and relationship. We ended last time with their relationship going public. He immediately complains about the newspaper headlines. He tells how angry he was about papers stating Mog was from gang-ridden Compton. So angry, his face froze. So, my dear friends, it wasn't just his todger, which was frozen at some point, but now his entire face and his blood stopped. Blah, blah, blah. Even Boris Johnson's sister gets it because she said that the Windsor's watery thin blood and the Spencer pale skin will thicken with some rich and exotic DNA. Oh my, Harold nearly crapped his pants. Well, I think that comment was far more derogatory towards the royal family and the Spencers than towards Mog. Rich and exotic. Sounds good to me. I don't know about you. And then he spends 3/4 of a page talking about a photograph of Mog and a hockey player the newspapers published and their supposed torrid affair. According to Mog, they were just friends. But reading between the lines, I think it was this allegation, more so than the Compton stories, which finally drove Harold insane. He got the palace's lawyers to warn the various newspapers, but according to Harold, their responses were actually non-responses. He says he huddled with the lawyer to work out how to protect Mog. But let's stop here for a minute. Harold does not say how their relationship leaked. Oh, no, no, no. None of that. Not even how he thinks it leaked. So how do you think it leaked? Well, maybe Mog wearing a chain with H&M on it was indeed a clue. Or maybe she was still recognizable in her costume. Or maybe them being in and out of all those royal homes and palaces and taking her into Kensington Palace past guards who are in fact nothing but Met officers and staff and cleaners and housekeepers. Honestly, who does he think he is? Invisible Man? And what about all those friends of Mog whom she told about their relationship? Anyway, Harold bounced from the lawyer to Jason Knauf. hounding them to pull a rabbit out of the hat and make it all go away. Jason warned him. He urged Harold to do nothing. He said, and I quote from Harold's book, "You are just going to feed the beast. Silence is golden." Indeed, had they listened to that advice. But as we know, they are still not heeding that advice. It was, however, an article in the Huffington Post, which was the last straw for Harold. Harold told Jason he wanted no more debate or discussion. They are putting a statement out, a strong, precise, angry one. And they did. Mog left Toronto a couple of hours before the statement went out. But by the time she landed at Heathrow, it was everywhere. And just like Jason predicted, yes, indeed he did, the statement resulted in a whole new onslaught and widespread interest. And not only that, but the entire family, particularly Pa and Wills, were pissed off. From Harold's own words, Mog did not appear too worried. She wanted to talk about nice things and the future. Of course she would. But Harold was obsessed, and all he wanted to do was ask her about everything that appeared online. In his own words, and I quote, "Is this true? Is that true? Is there a grain of truth in this?" Can you imagine spending a weekend with your boyfriend and that's all he does? Is this true? Is that true? And what about this? Tell me the truth about this. Oh, good Lord. Anyway, they, however, managed to get through it, and before she left, she wanted to make him lunch. And for that, she had to go shopping. You know, she couldn't send someone. You know, there are just hundreds of people around working at Kensington Palace. But please note, she had to go shopping. But Harold had an engagement, so he directed her to a nearby store. But when he got home, he found her sobbing, shaking, because somebody recognized her and took photographs of her with his cell phone. And while she was cashing out, she saw the newspapers and magazines with all those dreadful headlines. Yet, as he held her, he realized that despite her ordeal, she still cooked him a delicious lunch. And still, hapless Harold did not realize that his darling Mog was an actress. Let that sink in. Now, after this, Mog could not possibly go home. She could not go to her mother's house either, because there were paparazzi there too. So Harold reached out to a friend who had a house sitting empty in Los Angeles, and they offered their home to Mog. Yeah, folks, instant upgrade for Mog. It was Thanksgiving, and Mog's mother and father sneaked in to spend Thanksgiving with her. Dad brought some of the tabloids with him and wanted to talk to Mog about it. Well, that did not go well, and Dad left early. I can just imagine what that was about and how it went. Can't you? You know, they say parents are always the last to know. So I'm sure Daddy wanted to speak to her about Pornhub and, those kind of things. And then he goes on about how Mog was hounded going back home and to work, and how the Toronto police would do nothing to help, and how poor Doria suffered with the last sound her dying patients heard being click, clickety click. Yeah. I call bullshit Harry or Harold bullshit. You're talking rubbish. If bullshit was a penny, you would have been a billionaire by now. Anyway, December 2016, Mog was visiting. Harold had a bit too much wine and snapped at Mog. She took off to the bedroom, and when he joined her a couple of minutes later, she told him she won't allow a man to talk to her like that. But this was also another opportunity to psychoanalyze Harold, to plant that seed of discontent and anger at his family, because she asked him, "Where did you hear a man speak like that to a woman? Did you overhear adults speaking that way when you were growing up?" "Yes, poor little Harold. Did you? Shame. Poor you." He told her he tried therapy, and she told him to try again. And there you have it, folks. Finally, hook, line, and sinker, Harold's goose was cooked. Harold talks a little about Mog's trip to India. He says he told her not to take a photo of herself in front of the Taj Mahal, as people may say she is copying Diana, which we have incidentally already said, Harold, so you need not make excuses for it. Then he talks about a dinner with Doria. And then he is back on the media tangent. He phoned Pa, and Pa told him just not to read all the crap. But Harold got angry at Pa. He yelled at Pa that he may lose this woman. Now please note, this is what Harold wrote. He may lose this woman. But when his brother called her this girl, Harold got agitated. So he can call her this woman, but no one else can. Anyway, let's carry on. He yelled at Pa that he may lose this woman. She may decide he is not worth the bother, or the press may poison the public to the extent that some idiot may harm her. Pa said he was overreacting. Good for you, Uncle Charles. I would have said the same. Then there are indeed pages and pages on Harold seeing a therapist. It is so boring that I would not dare going through it with you. But there are three rather insane things in the narrative. Of course, he whinged about Pa, Willie, and Camilla, but after talking about Mummy and Mog, the therapist actually told him he made it sound like 1997 and that he is stuck in 1997. And nothing could be more true. And he's likely still stuck in 1997 to this day. Then, in another chapter, he tells the therapist about his nanny, Tiggy, and how she was a surrogate mother to him and William, and how he often turned other women into surrogate mothers. And I quote, "Surrogate mums made me feel better," I admitted, "and worse because I felt guilty." Well, what a strange choice of words, don't you think? Why didn't he say he turned other women into mother figures? Why did he say surrogate? A surrogate, generally speaking, is someone who gives birth to someone else's child. However, many people do see another woman or another man as a mother or father figure in the absence of their own. But we don't generally speak about them as a surrogate mother or a surrogate father. So, very, very strange. I think that tells us what is foremost and bugging Harold most. And it comes out in using these almost inappropriate words. The third thing that got to me is that he asked Diana's sister what her favorite perfume was and bought a bottle and took it to the therapist's office where he would take a whiff of it at the start of every session. Well, no wonder she asked him whether he was using drugs. Yes, indeed, the therapist did. But, my dears, once again, I think Harold is talking shite and likely asked his wife what she thought Diana's favorite perfume was, because old people like me remembered something completely different, and Diana followers like me sometimes kept old books and magazines, and one of Diana's favorite perfumes was indeed Penhaligon's Bluebell. And how do I remember that? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I can't afford it. I never could. But I smelled it once just as a lark because I knew it was one of Dinah's favorites, and it smelled heavenly, lovely, soft, clean, sweet, cool, fresh. It is actually an eau de cologne and not a perfume. So one can wear it all day, every day. And I love it. But at 6,800 Rand, or just over, I think, $390 per bottle, it has never graced my dressing table and likely never will. Another one of Diana's favorites was the Hermes 24 Fabois from Nordstrom. It's a little cheaper, but almost as nice with a clean floral scent. So I'm afraid I don't think Harold smelled his mummy, but indeed smelled his mog, his new surrogate mummy. As a matter of fact, I can prove to you that I'm telling you the truth, because in an old article on Mog dating back pre-wedding, she listed Quilque's, Quelques, Fleur's L'Original Parfume as one of her favorites. Oh my word. Old Harry did not bank on an old woman with good memories when he wrote his book, did he? Okay, friends and foes, I'm taking a break. I'll be back soon because of my 2-hour nap yesterday. I could not get a video out. It was getting too late and we were going into a power outage cycle. But I'm catching up, okay? So until I get back to you, please take care of yourselves. Bye.